I'm not a racist, preach the teacher. You still they never had this. Number one, them wanna run about the gun. I wasn't licensed to have one. The minute they see me, fear me. I'm the epitome, a public enemy. Use, abuse, without clues. I refuse to blow fuse. They even had it on the news. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype. Back when I wrote y'all, yes.
I'll play this clip from this evangelical, because that's the evangelicals. I forgot who I was talking with, but we were talking about grifters. And I'm not saying all evangelical preachers are grifters, but there is a Venn diagram that puts them in the middle of it. Some of them in the middle of a grifter with, because I grew up in the era of Reverend Ike. Well, I kind of remember Father Divine. My father would be talking about Father Divine. There were Big Dad. There was like some preacher named Daddy, somebody named Daddy.
Sound like a pimp name.
No, for real. And he had a bunch of women. It's wild.
Wow.
It's wild.
Wow.
So we had family friends that were part of that church, and it was like a harem or something. I just remember being young going, this don't feel right. But okay.
I have a recurring joke that I make on our podcast, but it's like half serious, half joking. But I believe all mega church pastors are just atheists that couldn't resist the easy money. Cause it's like,
oh my God.
Sometimes the stuff they be saying, I'll be like, bro, you preaching about buying a jet. You're not preaching about anything from the Bible right now. People in your city are down bad because of a flood. You close the church gates. That's not what are you in this for? You keep talking about prosperity and if you believe you're gonna get money, but like, what about believing so you get salvation? It'd be a little bit kind of weird to see him pop on the air at the BET Uncut and like preach about some money. That's weird.
Oh, well, in my house, every morning we watched Jim and Tammy Baker as my mother and father got ready for work and I got ready for school. And CeCe and BB Winans, I'll never forget this because their choir was lit. And I didn't know who they were at the time. I thought they were married too, BB and CeCe. I didn't know that they were brother and sister. I ain't know, but I knew they could sing.
Right.
And when they started, if it had not been for the Lord on my side, where would I be? And then the BB and CeCe would tear that up, and then we would get on about our business, right? Every morning, that was Jim and Tammy. Black folk, we're very complicated.
Yeah.
I say all of this to say that I think this has been one of the things. Either we're talking about the Latinos and we don't really talk about religion, but this is a driving factor in people believing, I think, that Trump might be the pick. There's a spiritual component. And then you got pastors like this guy named Lance Wallnau. He's a Texas pastor, not to be confused with the one that closed the church doors during a storm.
Right.
Lance Wallnau, he's got a mega church. He's an evangelical preacher. Here's what he claimed: he got a vision about Kamala.
I saw Kamala Harris as being the one that the devil was going to use to push through the White House, and that I saw that early on. And I actually had a vision, which I thought was a warning from the Lord, of her at an inauguration. And she had a Bible, and she had done something like put a Hindu prayer book with it. And it was like she did an inauguration and was putting her hand on a modified Bible as part of her. And the Lord told me back then, he said that is how the devil intends to bring in the destruction of this country. It's the final phase.
So you ain't had no problem with Trump with the upside down Bible, with making his second wife pregnant before she was his second wife while he was married to his first wife. You had no problem with him sleeping with the porn star, with raw dogging the porn star while his wife was pregnant with Barron. No problem with that. No problem with the 3 marriages. No problem with all of the touching and the grabbing and the sexual assault of people convicted, by the way, grabbing people out of pussy, saying out his mouth. That's not demonic at all. Nothing is wrong in the Bible, but in your vision, this is what's going to drive the country into the ditch, as if it hasn't been. The slavery wasn't a problem and the genocide wasn't a problem, but this woman is a problem.
No problem with 2 Corinthians. No problem with that.
The
other thing that was wild in that clip is that he clearly insinuated that Hindu people and a Hindu prayer book, keep in mind, like a Hindu prayer book, a book of prayers, implies the devil. right? He said that. Like that is wild. He didn't say like she gonna be, doing it on a crucifix that's upside down, or she gonna a 5-star pentagram or witchcraft. This man said Hindu. So like all the people that's Hindu in the world, the devil, according to this man, how did he get there? I would like to see the math on that.
Yeah. This is like how many are there, like 1 billion Hindus? I know
It's a lot of Hindu people for him to just be whipping that one out there.
What's wild, Roderick? All the Jesus lovers.
Yeah.
And I consider myself among them in terms of like the spirit, the nature of Jesus.
Right.
Should be something we should
we were supposed
model.
to learn. Yeah.
We should be modeling that, which is
Right.
which is loving people and stuff, hanging out with the folk don't nobody want to hang out with, healing folk,
showing
the water,
people the
wine,
way. Yeah.
all of it, right? But the notion that that somehow like all these other faiths, right, are demonic. Like, because he specifically said, this is of the devil.
Yeah.
As opposed to taking a Christian stance that if you do believe these people are going to hell eternally, then the olive branch is what the example of, like, to love the people so that they, like the woman at the well, go, oh, this is it. This is what I want to do.
Yes.
But they're doing the opposite.
I got another question too. How powerful is their God? Because I was told that God was all powerful, but these people keep moving like God is like this fragile, tiny egg that can't handle any level of turmoil or instability, that is not going to come through and save us all. Like, we got to save him. Matter of fact, it's really the other way around. You can't have anyone thinking differently going to a school. You can't have anyone in the White House that you didn't decide should be in the White House. I thought that secular was secular. I thought was for Caesar.
Render unto Caesar. There we go.
I thought that's how it was supposed to go. Instead, it's like they're always trying to cram their religion down everybody else's throat, like they're scared or something. What's going to happen? If like, is God somewhere in heaven? Like, look, man, they got one more time, and then I'm done with them. I know what I said in the Bible, but I'm changing my mind. I'm done with these fools.
I always say to people, how tiny is your God? How small? To the very thing that you say, because my God doesn't need me fighting on God's behalf. God is God. Why? If God needs me to fight, then I'm a warrior, but like,
how about maybe whenever something bad happens and you ask them like, yo, why did this bad thing happen if God is so good? What do they say? Mysterious ways. It's not up for us. Well, maybe this y'all turn to have some mysterious ways. Kamala's the president. Y'all gonna see how he gonna work it out. Y'all will be all right. Stop trying to limit everything else. Y'all, and the fact that y'all keep wanting to put the Antichrist in office, trick, like, that's what makes it feel like some type of weird psychology or cult. And I'm not talking about religion right there. I'm talking about white supremacy. That's what makes it feel like a cult, is that you could look at Donald Trump and see some sort of virginal angelic figure that's going to save us all, the savior of humanity. And you look at Kamala Harris and her long resume of public service and go, that's the damn devil. Something is wrong with these people.
My days are cooler, nights are warmer, and I put the blame on you. Time moves slow, but my heart beats faster. When these eyes are looking right at you, you give me something to believe in, just what